subject name operating system, chapter name advanced topics, topic name network structure. There are two types of network structure that is given to one. One is a local area network or LAN and another is a wide area network or WAN. This LAN and WAN are differentiated with each other being of these two reasons. That is the geographical area and of the speed and the computations. In the geographical area, the LAN is situated within a small boundaries like within 1 kilometer or an office or a building. And other than WAN is geographically boundary area of a huge like a city or a country. First we will discuss about LAN. LAN was invented in the early 1970s where it was used for the invention that the small systems that should be used by the office or the companies rather than using a large mainframe computers. Here we need to connect all the small systems as an extension of the companies that should be connected to each other to make the remote site systems accessible. Now why you are using the small computer systems? Because they want to extend the facilities to each of the users in the offices of their particular resources as well as the resources that can be used remotely by other offices sectors. So in this way, LAN becomes extremely popular for maintaining a link between a smaller computer system rather than maintaining a large computer or mainframe system. So the links that were used for LAN is generally optical fiber, twisted pair and fiber cable. Now generally LAN is faster and lower of error because its area is very small and it gets a small number of computer systems interlinked with each other. Now as uses this small area and the twisted pair and fiber cable which is used on the copper technology, then it cannot spread across like 10 km to the maximum. The most common method of implementing LAN is a star network. A star network uses one or two nodes to a switch and then contain the switches among each other, so that the communication takes place between these switches and so that they can be communicate with each other very seamlessly. Now the speed that is provided by LAN is 40 Mbps for the Ethernet. And for this other infrared, Apple Talk and this Bluetooth technology, it is 1 Mbps per second. For some higher, that is 100 Mbps and 10 Mbps for 10 best Ethernet, 100 best Ethernet and 1000 best Ethernet. So the Ethernet provides a connection that was preliminarily implemented for LAN and usage of this Ethernet becomes a very high speed for providing in the LAN. Now LAN is composed of the computer which is of different types, say operating systems, CPU, processors, peripheral devices and a router that can connect this LAN or these machines to each other. Now LAN uses other than a switch technology a multi-access bus so that any controller or the host can be attached to it very easily. Sometimes other than the Ethernet cabling, LAN uses an Wi-Fi technology or wireless technology to connect of each computer. Now the main advantage of this wireless technology is it connects over the cabling of the network that has to be done within a home, office or a building. That is why LAN is becoming more popular into the airplane, bus or any public area, say cafe, network in railway station, home and office buildings. But the main problem with this Wi-Fi is the speed of that particular network. Ethernet provides such a 40 Gbps per second, but whereas Wi-Fi at this point provides only 56 bits per second. Now, this can be a theoretical way, but in the practical, it provides only on half of its method. In some high-speed Wi-Fi technology, it provides a 62 or 64 Mbps per second to provide the speed of LAN. Now with the 802.11 standard, the Wi-Fi technology can connect with the LAN and a 75 Mbps per second, but which can be considered with a 40 Gbps at a very high speed for Ethernet cabling. So the only advantage the Wi-Fi has the physical burdening over the cabling of data. Nowadays, optical fiber is used for high-speed accessing in the WAN technology of LAN. Next, we move to our next section, that is a WAN. In WAN or wide area network, there is no geographical boundary or limitation on the placing of the network. But here, as the geographical boundary is higher, so you use that telephone lines or lease line cablings, which makes the speed of this computation very slower and the data transfer rate also very insecure. So here we need a special type of communication processor, which is known as a gateway router or simply a router, which can connect different LANs or different mediums or nodes to connect with each other. So the first type of WAN, which is used for more research-like purposes for 4 sites in environment, is an ARPANET. That is to be done within a project to share between every cities. But later on, the internet is the most widely used WAN, which is connect used to from cities, countries, and even for international standards. So here the speed is much slower than the normal LAN because what connects a very smaller area, now it connects a very larger area. Now WAN can connect different types of computers, varies between the CPU type, operating system type, processor type, even with different networks that can connect with different LANs. Say suppose that the LANs are connected with each other and the LANs are connected via the gateway to the top of it via the WAN. Now this WAN provides a connection between these LANs as well the connection between these nodes over the countries. So as we know that the speed is slower, so it supports 1.5444 gigabyte per second for an WAN connection for a T1 line. So to increase the speed, it generally collects a multiple T1s together. Say for 28 T1s together can give us a speed of 14 megabytes per second. And for collecting more T1s together, it gives 622 megabytes per second. So in this way, WAN is increased on the speed or the computation throughput upon the use of this wireless technology. As we know that a telephone line or a lease line is used by this LAN, that is T1, which is collected to increase its speed, but it also uses a normal most accessible bus to connect that most hosts can be attached to it. So it can be thought like in 2 telephone calls are happening over. So the telephone calls in a particular city or a boundary can be thought as a LAN, but the only difference is that they cannot get their data network supplies. When the LAN connects to a higher authority of the gateway, that get connected to a WAN. Say suppose the calls are now transferred between the international standards. So in this way, WAN supports the network area structures for the geographical boundaries that has no option other than counting to the cities and countries. So this WAN can support first message sending or packetting to the LAN connection, and then the LAN connection send the packet to the gateway router. Then the gateway router in turn sends the packet to the intended receiver or that particular LAN. So that is all for this LAN and WAN. Thank you for watching this video. Stay tuned with Ekeeda and subscribe to Ekeeda.